Welcome to this episode of Voodu Warlock 2023. The episode in which I'm not even sure what number we're on now or what number this is going to be at this point. This feels really weird playing this tune again because it's been 6 weeks since I've touched Voodoo. Hardcore 6 happened, and I'm currently sitting at number 8 on the leaderboard for Favor, which is really cool. I know that I won't end up anywhere near that. It'd probably be like 30th or something, but it was really cool to push far beyond 20. It was my first time ever pushing that far on hardcore, and had a great time. Really impressed with how things turned out. It was my first time going beyond 20, and so tanking things like the Fall of Truth and Tower of Despair on the first lifer was really insightful because I've never played this character as a first lifer before. So I talked about that in some other episodes. I will talk about that in some upcoming episodes. All right, so I did most of the 13s, the Archon's Chain, and of course the Gianthold walk-ups, and did Lord's March. Gear hasn't changed at all since last level. Enhancements, I'm not even sure where I spent the points since the last episode, but this is what they look like right now. It's like I put some points in Soul Eater. That's probably because I just didn't have enough points to work up to You've Got My Back, so I just thought I'd get a little extra DPS for now until I have enough to go into You've Got My Back and have permanent shield there, plus the extra MRR and PRR for actually casting the shield and Night Shield spell. Reaper trees just fully maxed out as far as I can at this point. Picked up a point of Constitution. This is a Constitution build, so I'll be going Constitution the whole way. No feats to talk about. I guess I can just show where the skills are at this point. Concentration, Intimidate, Spellcraft. Just a few points in UMD. I probably won't go any higher there. Where am I at on Resurrection Scrolls? 125%, so good to go. Some points in balance too. And just want to show where the character sheet is. And I probably should show that once I step into the quest on Reaper mode too, because some of those stats will change. So we're going to be doing Gianthold flaggers right through the raid. Yeah, 6 weeks since I made the last episode. Does my beard look any longer? We're going to start with the quick Cabal for 1. Now, Gianthold is pretty confusing when you're new to it. I do have a tour video that shows, where all the rares and explorers and quest entrances are. All right, so I just remembered as I was stepping into this one that I wanted to do a comparison. Back in April of 2017, I soloed this on R5 on Voodoo. Now, that was back when you had to do, for Max Reaper XP, you had to do the quest at the base level. So if you were doing this on a Reaper, back then you would have done it at level 14, because that's the base level of the quest for maximum Reaper XP. It took me a half an hour to do it, and I'm thinking, it's going to be a lot easier now. I just kind of want to compare it and see how long it takes. I'm doing it 2 levels higher than I did 5 years ago. But back then, there also wouldn't have been, like, the fancy, Reapers, Despair and Vengeance Reapers I could see. All right? So, yeah, I just want to see what happens just to compare and see if it still takes me a half an hour. Thinking it's going to be faster, but what do I know about knowing stuff? Maybe I'll hit a Vengeance Reaper and... This is... It's R5. Good lord. I had a real hard time with the bosses. You know, I don't have good boss DPS on this tune. I mean, it's not supposed to. So that's where soloing really slows down when you're trying to beat down a boss. Gotta have my collectible. Sounds like I got a secret door bonus for that too. Observance, hell yeah, it's plus 8%. Throw down the tentacles there. Getting tripped. Fear Reaper. Remember, with Fear, you want to be up close and personal, melee range, or you want to be further away. Further away out of its AoE. And you can still comfortably be within casting distance or range distance. It's not that big. It's only about 40, 50 feet or so, maybe 60 feet tops. Famine Reaper, so we'll put on the spell absorption. Heal myself for 96 with a heal scroll on R5. I'm really surprised how fast these mobs are going down. Maybe I'll put a link to that video when I did R5 in 2017 in the video description. See how the bursts are hitting him even though he's on that shelf and I'm down here. I don't have to jump to hit him with the bursts. There's our first Venji. Vengeance you want to kill last, or you want to kill them separate from everything else. Because when a Vengeance Reaper dies, you want to stay out of those circles. When a Vengeance Reaper dies, it buffs everything around it in a really big AoE. It makes them do like 500% their normal damage. So Vengie buff mobs can get really scary. I just staunched and used Shining Through. And gotta stay away from that circle. The circle does a lot of damage. Back to the aura. Yeah, I've taken a lot of damage here. And another Vengeance Reaper. So what I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to kill this stuff. Staunched up again, Shining Through, kill this stuff that's close, and then pull that Vengeance Reaper back, because there are mobs up top. And I don't want them to get Vengie buffed. So, between the famine earlier and the two Vengies, my spell absorption has been chewed out. At least on my Pale Lavender. Still got my mantle. I've got my jeweled cloak. Just healing myself in those in-between moments. If I was further down, then, I'd want to make that a higher priority. But I can always lean on Shining Through and staunch if I need to. Famine Reaper, I'm going to put on my Jeweled Cloak for spell absorption. It looks like I wasn't close enough to that Fear Reaper. It's taking some of its dots. Back on with the regular cloak. Might be one of those situations where I have to kite them around. I think I had to do a lot of that in that video from 5 years ago. See, he's healing quite a bit. And I remember I struggled trying to out DPS his healing. But we got maximized and empowered tentacles on him. And I just threw arcane Arcane Tempest, and that really helped. You know, I wouldn't have had Arcane Tempest all those years ago because it wasn't on the Warlock spell list all those years ago. That was just added probably about a year ago. Now, let's see what our completion time is. I know that was a lot faster than a half an hour. 11 minutes, what a difference between 5 years ago. Part of the difference would be, you know, I'm 2 levels higher. But, you know, there's been a whole balance pass and stuff since then, a lot of changes since then. Okay, we're just going to take this guy to Stormed Heart. That'll take us most of the way to Madstone. Much Reaper XP did I get for that? 1,500. Oh, I'm not doing this on R5. I'm just going to do it on R1. And you can put up Sleet Storm if you want to. That's nice for this kind of situation. You have mobs that you know are spawning out of a certain place. Just keep the Sleet Storm up. I'll be doing that at the Seers as well. Tentacles. I'm just going to single target the Enchanter with Focused Blast. talk to this guy. Otherwise, you're going to get to the crystal and wonder where he is. This quest can be hella confusing when you're new to it. It's not linear. It's really easy to start backtracking and not realize it. It's not always obvious where to go when you're new to it. And it basically makes a big loop, you know, by the time you get to the end, it takes you right back to the start. I don't mind running by mobs, you know. If they follow, I'll kill them in a pile. Famine Reaper, Spell Absorption. Lay down some tentacles for all that mess. It's gonna be a tough one to solo too, because protecting these seers can be challenging if you aren't familiar with tactics that you know, make it a lot easier. This one's pretty easy to solo because all the mobs are coming from right here. Go ahead and put a Sleet Storm up. I think next level I'm a couple gearing changes, trinket and gloves, maybe. I can't remember. Gloves definitely. I think maybe the trinket. We'll see. That'll be about it until I get to 20. The epic stint of this series will be a little bit different for me, because I want to do quests for the series, but that's not, you know, I don't really quest my way to 30 from 20. I'm just mostly doing slayers and, you know, evening star challenges and a handful of epic leveling dailies, the huge XP ones, and that's it. It's a really, really quick, about a 7-hour deal. But I'll want to do some questing just to test Voodoo out at the different epic levels. And I'll talk about my normal epic leveling routine when we get there. I really enjoy Gianthold. It's always been a part of my heroic routine. This doesn't have a legendary counterpart, so just getting the favor for it now. I don't typically do it in epic, although you know, you can actually fly through them really fast now in epics. Now that you can do them 4 above base level, whereas, you know, years ago you had to do them at their base normal level. That's a big difference, a 4-level difference. Plus with the balance pass and everything, you know, we came out ahead with that. You know, a lot of the, you know, some of the player base was upset by it, but some people were like those big numbers. You know, numbers got squished. But the way I likened it was that, you know, before the stat squish, we had 5/5 of a pizza, and after the stat squish, we had 3/3 of a pizza. Well, I think I learned in like 6th grade or 7th grade that 5/5 was the same as 3/3. You know, they were just rescaling things. Just they were just reorganizing the closet, you know, just to give us more space so we could buy more shoes. I've never been much of a numbers person. I just kind of play by feel. You know, does it feel like things are working out? Okay, great. You know, I mean, obviously I look at the numbers, but I don't obsess over them. And so it just feels, the game felt easier after the whole balance pass and stat squish. Regardless of, you know, what our actual numbers were, it felt easier. Those high skull Reaper mobs at endgame are still hitting pretty hard, though. Alright, I don't need to shrine. I still have most of my mana, and I don't want to lose my stacks of depravity, so let's go. I could just run by these guys. Maybe I'll just run by that clown. I don't need to waste my time with him. This is one of the spots where, you know, you're coming out, it's not obvious where to go, but that's where we came from, and that's where we'll end up going once we finish this part. Over here, I'm just getting a collectible. Right here, we're just going to run up. We're not going to kill anything. We're just going to run by this stuff because it'll clog the lane and block other mobs from coming up. This one can be tricky to solo. Okay, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do... he fell. Nice. I'm going to do mass invis so he gets invised. And I'm just going to stay up here and do chain shape. An eye on this guy. If you have some way to, like, you know, stone him, then he won't respawn. But there's so much stuff. This part, a lot of people get take their eyes off the ball. The ball being a metaphor for the giant in this case. Your objective here is to protect the giant. It isn't to run around and kill everything. If you look in the quest box, it doesn't say run around and kill everything up there. I haven't read it recently, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't say that. But you'll see a lot of people here running around and killing everything. But you don't need to do that. You want to stay up here and just keep your eye on the giant. That's all you got to do. And sometimes, you know, you can be up here. There might only be a handful of mobs. Most of the time, it's not more than a handful. Sometimes it's just a few. Not counting this guy, which keeps respawning. But look at that clown down there. He's just trying to throw stuff at me. He isn't hurting me. As long as he's not hurting the giant, that's all I care about. But you'll see people, you know, running down the ramps, and they're at the bottom of the ramps, and they're fighting stuff down there, and you're fighting stuff down at the bottom of the ramps or halfway down the ramps, then your eye is off the giant. And your objective is to protect the giant. You look at these guys down there. I shouldn't have even killed them. Should just have left them there. They weren't hurting anybody. Let's do a fresh sleet storm there. In case anything does get to them. See that stuff down there? See it way down there? That's not hurting anybody. See that guy there? He's stuck. He's not hurting anybody. And most importantly, he's not hurting the giant. So I don't need to run over there and kill that guy. I don't need to run halfway down the ramp to mobs that are not hurting the giant, although that Plague Reaper is a little scary. Keep an eye on his health. You can heal him if you need to. And that's it. We're done. Not running around killing everything. Doing what the objective said to do. Protect the seer. Mission accomplished. Again, that's where we came from. This is where we're going, to go to the third seer. That archer can live there. If he follows, he dies. If he stays there, he lives. It's really in his best interest to stay back there, but I'm not here to tell him what to do. Okay, I'm just going to do single target blast. You can't kill the seer, so it doesn't really matter, but... Just showing you can do that. Yeah, he had a choice. And he chose poorly. Collectible up here. Other than that, I don't care about these archers. They can live there. It can be their home. I think this is their home. Remnant. Here's another one where you see people approaching it differently. Again, it's important to remember that your objective is just to protect the seer. Some people will be fighting down here at the gate. You don't need to do that. The mobs, if they come out of that gate, they can live there. Some viz. Let's get it shattered. So now I'm going to go up here. And I'm going to get the aggro of everything. I'm actually going to turn my aura off. Because I don't want to kill this stuff. If you kill this stuff, you'll see people up here killing all this stuff, right? You kill this stuff, you know what happens? It respawns. And then you know what you got to do? You got to kill it again. And then when it respawns, the aggro resets. It starts aggroing on the giant, and you don't want that. So I'm coming up here, I'm getting all the aggro, and now I'm coming back down here. These guys came up from the gate. All right, check his health looks pretty good. Now I'm just gonna hide down here. Those mobs up top, they can't hit me. I got cover from the cave. And so I just sit here and I wait. I've got the seer targeted. I can still see his health in the lower right hand corner in my focus orb. And now I just sit here. And I wish I could say I was sipping my coffee, but I'm doing a liquid cleansing fast today. So what's in my cup is just basically spicy lemonade. It is now September 12th. The last video I did when I made the last episode, I think was July 22nd, I think. I lost. If there's nothing that can get to him, everything up there is trying to hit me, then there's nothing that's going to get back there and, you know, get to him. All that stuff that comes from out of that gate has to come this way. This is the only path up to that giant. Now sometimes they'll sneak up here, so just be mindful of that. I've seen them do that. This is the part where I basically get to do nothing and get something done. If I can get something done while doing nothing, I'm all in. I am dedicated to doing nothing to get something done. I think I'll still do nothing because my aura will kill them. Even when I'm knocked down, my aura kills them. But I'm going to move a little bit because I can see that they were hitting me. Okay, the crystal is shattered. We're done. I could detour at this point, but I just want to show you, in case you didn't know, that the key to do the optional is right over there. See the words iron key? There it is, right there. Iron key. If you want to do the optional and you don't have the ability to unlock a door, well, there you go. There's the optional. That key unlocks that gate. There's a shrine if you need it. We don't. Although I probably need to rebuff. Yep. Oh, I'm affected by the Madstone. I'll show you a neat trick. Let's see. You're defensive. You can take defensive fighting, turn it on, and then turn it back off, and it gets rid of the Madstone Rage. Cacao. Knowing stuff. You can too. I was wondering where you guys went. Welcome to the party. This guy at the top is a spellcaster. You might want to put on spell absorption. I'm going to do focused blast because I know he's not going to do enough damage to hurt me anyways. And it's higher DPS since there's just one boss up here. And if you want to, you can put on spell absorption. But he's going to be stone dead in a moment. Loot. Jump down our D-door. Don't recall out after you loot that chest. You kill the boss, you loot the chest, you got it in your mind, you think it's done. you recall out and you're like, damn, we weren't complete. I've done it so many times in this quest. I've probably recalled out too early out of just about any quest that has some mechanic where you got to talk to a guy to finish it. You know, I kill the boss, I loot the chest. The quest is done in my mind.